Well, hello. It's gone a bit after 7. But hey, this is live. Who cares? Welcome. It is episode 221 of the Pro Synth Network live stream, coming at you for the last 4.5 years, every day or every week, shall I say? Not every day. God, that would be awful. Both as a presenter and a viewer. So yeah, welcome. It's a shite week. I'm going to say that right up front. It's a shite week because there's not a lot of news. So that this is going to kind of maybe be a bit more pub-like than is. Well, you know, it can't. They sort of blend sometimes. But anyway, we've got stuff to talk about, and maybe you can suggest some topics for us to talk about that are relevant. Okay, we're not going to discuss Biden against Trump, or we're not going to discuss the UK election or anything like that.
Or why pizzas are round becoming square boxes and the pieces are triangular.
I know, right? It's just like they want you to learn maths and trigonometry.
There's Glasto.
Right, so,
there's always Glasto.
Anyway, there is Glasto, but yeah, haven't had a chance to. I missed Squeeze today at 12 o'clock, which I was most disappointed about. So that'll be iPlayed later. But anyway, until then, in this very warm studio, and I have a fan going, so if you can hear that in the background, I'm sorry, but if you want me to melt live on camera, I'll turn it off. It's not going to happen. I had a conversation with an American the other day about why we don't have aircon in a domestic level here in the UK, and they just couldn't understand it. And ultimately, it was just a cultural thing, I suppose. But I think the way the weather's going over the last few years, I think that's the business to get into, domestic AC in the UK. Answers on a postcard. Before you do anything else, give us a like, give us a comment, and a subscribe and a share. If you haven't subscribed to us, why not? Why you not subscribe to us? Subscribe to us, please. It makes us feel better. It makes us feel loved. And it helps with the algorithms and stuff. And that helps us push us up into more people's, suggested lists and things to avoid, and hopefully they'll click on it. So just give us a subscribe if you haven't already. We're almost at 4,100, which is nothing really. Let's admit it, in the grand scheme of things. It would be lovely to get to 4,200.
40,000 more. 40,000
nice.
more, and we'll be at domestic sample rate.
Something like that. Yeah, 44.1 would be great. Anyway, so if you could subscribe if you haven't already, do it now. Go on, I'll wait. Thank you. Right. Don't forget to also click the bell that's next to it, because that tells you when we're on, which is the same time every Friday, mostly. But just do it anyway. And then give us a like or a thumbs down if you don't like us, and share us. Share us around like your mother, and let people know that we exist. Okay. That would be fantastic. If you want to support us, you can do that in a number of ways. The main one, I guess, there's two. There's patreon.com/ProSynth Network. It's a minimum $2 monthly subscription. You get access to lots of exclusive stuff like sound sets for different synthesizers and early access videos, sometimes ad-free videos. And we're going to put more stuff as we get it. And we have to say massive thank you to people like Mark Barnes, to James Dyson, people like Cherry Audio, who have given us stuff to put on there, and we're getting more stuff, and there's hopefully some exciting things happening soon. But do subscribe, because that money all goes and it's all plowed back into the channel to pay for the licenses and the equipment and all that kind of stuff. It's not for profit. It all goes plowed back into this thing. If you don't want to do Patreon, then you can also become a YouTube member, and we'll give you all those free things as well, as much as we can, because sometimes it's difficult to distribute on YouTube memberships. And talking of YouTube memberships, let's say hello first of all to all of the YouTube members that are actually in the chat, such as John Simpson, Simon Tucker. I even believe there's Keith in Watford. See you tomorrow, mate. I saw Asef Stripe, also known as David Serchek. It's either a public holiday where he lives, because he doesn't normally come on. So he's either a public holiday or he's off sick or something. But it's great to see him. Human Error is in the chat. Thank you for your membership. Also to Bostic247. Yes, scraping the barrel today. That is for sure. Who else? Have we got any other members in there? I can't see. Here we go. There's Tosafi Music, or Tosafi, I can't remember how you pronounce that. They're in there, and if I've missed anyone, I'm terribly sorry. Also, hi to our moderators. I see Ben Musines. I also see Andy Brooks. Oh, there's Viral Beats. Viral Beats is a member. They're in there. The wonderful Manny Fernandez is right there. And yes, you can be a member of both, and just have that warm, fuzzy feeling that you're supporting us from either end.
Pardon?
Which is very nice. It's the Process Network Spit Roast. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Don't forget, you can also find us on social media. We're right across social media. We don't participate in social media too much, but we mostly do it on Facebook because we're old, and that's what apparently my kids tell me Facebook is for, old people. So that's where we are. And there we go. That's all the formal stuff out of the way. Yes, Noah. That was Noah, wasn't it?
That was Noah.
Yeah, you see, I know these dogs' barks now. You see, I know them individually. Well, actually, I probably couldn't tell between Nelly and Siri. Or Charlie, yeah, for sure.
Oh, Charlie, he doesn't bark.
See, look, I've just activated my phone because of your dogs. Happens all the time. Talking of
my
the owner
plan
of
is
such,
working.
Yeah, talking of the owner of such mutts. Here he is himself.
Can I please point out that the pub format is copyrighted?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Do I need to pay a license fee or something?
There will be. I will be contacting my lawyers.
Oh, okay. Put a copyright claim in.
Yeah.
See what happens.
My little cardboard cutout lawyers. Yes. Hello. Good evening.
Hello, with all of your oscilloscopy type stuff behind you there.
Yeah, makes it look like I'm working, doesn't it?
I know. What are you doing with that?
Oh, I'm calibrating the 80.
Oh, okay.
There she is. There.
Oh.
Calibrating
Well, get on with it then.
80.
Get on with it. What are you doing?
How
when the show
rude.
finishes.
You've got her skirt up. We can, it's...
I know.
It's disgusting. Put it down. Put it away. You see everything.
So, yes. Yes, I've had a lovely week, thank you.
Good.
Not.
No, okay.
Oh, hang on a minute. I can hear floorboards creaking.
Uh-oh. Make sure she's got clothes on.
Never a good sign, is it? Yes. No, so I finished restoring our CNC.
Nice.
She's all up and kicking now. Also restored a pillar drill, and then found out after I'd completely restored and repainted and cleaned and greased it, put it all back together, and then found that the chuck spindle's bent. Because I couldn't fire it up. Couldn't fire it up because it was in such a bad condition. And put it all back together, and it gets so it cuts ovals. So if anybody wants an oval cutter,
eggs are us.
However, CNC, a little bit of synth sexiness for you now. Okay.
Righty-ho.
No, stop that. Yes, the CNC machine. Shall I show you what it's capable of doing?
Go on.
Check this out. When it cuts this, and then you send it to the silk screeners, it comes back.
Oh my lord!
Let's put this under here to the camera. Don't follow it, you dick.
Yeah. 31 or 32? I could never tell.
This is 32 because it has 32. The programmer.
Oh yes, of course, yes.
Baton. So, but this one's pretty special. This one has the remote control.
Ooh. Get you.
Did you know there was such a thing?
Didn't Wakey have one of those?
Yeah, it was. I think it's called the 3040.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's remote control. It's not a big cable, but basically you can select your presets, but from the comfort of your own home. So there you go. And I know it's a heavy news week, but
no, really, Phil Pad.
Oh, mate, I have a Moog 3C coming in.
Oh.
That used to be the one that was in Martin Newcomb's collection.
Oh wow!
Right. All the time it was in his collection, it was never serviced. When he got it, apparently it wasn't serviced before he got it, It's been in storage. It's coming here in the next couple of weeks, and it's never been serviced. And it was described to me as a little cranky.
Which one?
Is it called Fiona?
I tell you what.
Dorsey.
I tell you what. In terms of tuning, this couldn't hit a donkey's arse with a banjo. And
Any
it's
excuse.
it's going any excuse. And it's going to need to be completely torn down and completely rebuilt. And I can't wait. I just can't wait. Because it's an RA. It's an RA.
Yeah.
It's a proper RA,
It's a
original,
proper-
never
proper-
really been touched at all,
Isn't it though?
ever.
Proper 60s RA. Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to
baby.
that.
Yeah,
Cool beans.
big time.
Excellent stuff. The other voice that you heard there, disjointed, as always, was the one and only Mr. Andrew Longprong. There he is. All fuzzy.
Never-
Stop moving. And the,
Never has a name been less accurate.
Mr. Unfurled.
Mr.
Yes.
Unfurled. I'm long prong indeed. So I'm a little disappointed because
You're a
I'm
little
kind of
something.
trying to get a bit more,
Yes, you've been on the
bit more
bike, haven't
healthy
you?
and stuff. Yeah, I got my bike. I've ridden it for 2 days now. And I thought as a special treat on Friday night, I'd bring in 12 jelly beans to last me the show.
They're gone.
Yeah.
That's
I've
not
got
even a
this-
handful, is it?
I've got the self-discipline of Siri, really.
Yeah.
Really. So that was a little disappointing. I've got nothing else to look forward to now other than water, a fine chat with you gentlemen, and covering some synthesizer-related technology things, mate.
Vaguely
Or both
related.
both of them.
Yeah.
Both of the things that are, yeah. So that's my padding.
Matt Evans has just asked, did the loopback installer end up being stable? Yes. So you might know that I had some issues with Loopback, which is a piece of software by Rogue Amoeba that we use, or I use anyway, to route internal audio around the system. And they did an update a little while back, and it broke things. And they were brilliant, I have to say. As soon as I contacted them, within 24 hours, got a response. Within about a week, they sent me a new development version, which I tested and is working perfectly, and it's now an official release. So yes, 2.4.1 I believe is the so if you use Loopback and you were having problems, there it is, it's all done. So yes, thank you to Rogue Amoeba for sorting this out.
That's really cool of them. It's
Yeah.
really nice to hear good customer service stories.
Absolutely.
Really good.
So I'm going to make a big announcement here. I've got a brand new synthesizer to show you. This is our first piece of synthesizer news. It is from our friends at Arturia. It's the Nano Freak. and I've got to thank our wonderful friend Howie Scar for this. It's got a ring modulator.
Yeah. So literally, you've got a brand new synthesizer, and you'll give us the key.
Yeah. Ba-dum-tish. Yeah, look at that. Now, I was packing up because you might notice that there's
Oh
things
yeah,
missing.
my baby girl's gone. What have you done with my baby girl?
She's back in her box.
Oh,
Put her back in her
man,
box. So this is weird, all right? So I got the box out of the garage and I packed her all up, and I put, because it's got massive foam inserts, or not foam, it's this kind of shiny firms, anyway, whatever. And I took them all out of the box, and at the bottom of the box was this little packet with that in. And in my speed, actually speed's not the right word, but in my enthusiasm, because it's a heavy thing, you can't take it out fast, as the missus says. I noticed at the bottom of the box there was this. I completely missed it when I was taking my polymer. So I've got. I don't want to use it because it's actually really, really nice. There's a little mini freak key ring. So yeah, there you go.
I think you better go and check the rest of your boxes.
I know. It's a good job
Imagine
I
what's
keep
in the
my boxes.
Imagine what's in the Fairlight one.
Not a lot. No. Not a lot. Dead mice normally and a few spiders.
The HP agreement?
Yeah. Yeah. No, do you know, I have found some really odd things. I actually opened the Fairlight up, and inside, sellotaped to the drive bay was some sort of document. It was nothing Fairlight related. It was I don't know, it was very weird. So I don't know. And my colleagues literally has found a dead mouse. And apparently he's gone on to have a very famous career. Or should that be?
Oh, right. Now, yeah, really.
No, but he did.
It's 7:15 on a Friday. We're not that bleeding quick. Come on.
I know.
Yeah, no. That just...
True. Anyway. So, this week I have been mostly packing synthesizers up because myself and Peter, James, Stephen are off to Synthesized in Cambridge, which is tomorrow and Sunday. We'll have more about that later on. But if you're in the Cambridge area, or maybe if you're not in the Cambridge area and you can get onto a train or jump in a car and get into the Cambridge area, come and see us, because it's going to be a really fun weekend. It always is.
Are you saving up your intellect for then? Because I don't think any of us tonight are the Brains Trust, are we?
The account is empty.
Peter met Nelly today.
Who, sorry? Oh, Peter met. Oh, because Peter, yeah, he came.
That sounds like a footballer, Peter McNelly.
Peter McNelly, yeah.
Peter McNelly, yeah.
Yeah. And,
cool. Is he all right?
Eventually.
Yeah.
Once Nelly got off him.
Yes.
Yeah,
indeed.
no, it's cool. It's cool. He's collected his drumulator.
Did you give him the QY?
No, completely forgot. But I'm still trying to retrieve Nelly from his nether regions. So it's basically, yeah.
Kill beans.
Oh, he got the full effect. He got Charlie,
yeah.
Nelly, and Siri, and Charlie just barked incessantly, but from a distance, until he went over to say hello.
Oh, bless.
Well, good.
Bless. Anyway, should we do a show? We've killed 20 minutes, but we're not doing too bad here.
That's not bad for opening credits, is it?
That's not bad for opening credits.
I'm sorry, everyone, but it's a slow week again. There's going to be some stuff next week and the week after. There's things on the horizon. So yeah, we've got things to do, but right now there's not a lot. So we're going to kick off with this little thing, which is a cello. There we go. The instant cello. All you got to do is pour it into a mug, put in some hot water, give it a stir, and there it is. The instant cello.
Just had talent.
Just had talent, indeed. Well, actually, you don't need bucket loads because some of you, many of you, might recognise that Harmonic are the company behind it, and this is essentially a cut-down version, a light version, if you will, of their Bohemian cello. which Kent and I both are big fans of. It includes about half of the playing styles, so you get the improv, the assertive, and the classical, and there are like 3 more in the full version. But it is basically just a slimmed down version of the Bohemian cello, which normally, as you see here, retails for £216. Instant cello will normally retail for 86, but is currently 50% off, so it's 43 quid. For what is a very nice sounding cello, even though it might be a little cut down from the other one. I love a cello. I mean, it's one of my favourite string instruments because I think it sits nicely between the bottom shaking bass and the ear piercing sort of highness of the other strings within the family. It sits right there nice in the middle, sort of in the middle. I like the cellos. But I thought that sounded really, really nice, and it's a great deal for somebody, if you're looking for a decent cello. There you go.
Well, you've
Thoughts?
both got them. You've both got the Bohemian ones. I don't.
Deal.
So I had no skin in the game. But now I do. I've bought this. It's
Cool.
a stupid price. You were saying just after the video played, Kent, that you probably do need some talent. The thing is, I've heard lots and lots of people, children predominantly, practicing the cello when they first start out, using a piece not entirely dissimilar, or maybe it was often the Walt Whitman piece we just heard, and it sounds awful until you articulate it and can play it well. What's really good about this is you can play something stupidly simple, sounded very like Wolf Hall, but it's evocative. I was incredibly impressed, and still am, with the vibrato, the way it's not all the same vibrato. It kind of recognises how fast you're playing and where you are in a phrase. This is a brilliant thing they've done. I will almost certainly go on to buy the full thing, but it's a beautiful sounding cello, and I like those kinds of lines. I think this is absolutely brilliant, and at €49, get out of here.
Exactly. Yeah, it's this wonderful blend of very, very good samples, and then some very clever stuff going on in the background to deliver that very authentic articulation. Because as Andrew says, it picks up on the speed that you're playing, the velocity of the notes, etc., and adjusts, as you saw in the video, you might have seen on the right hand side of the screen, it adjusts the articulation to suit, and there's very little key switching required. There is some you can use, but very little indeed. And it is just, I love playing these Bohemian instruments because they kind of make you sound like you know what you're doing.
And just one other observation. This is the cut down version. It's still 50,000 samples and still 26 gigabytes. The full version is 70,035 gigabytes, and it does have a lot more in it, but it's still a really big, wonderful, gorgeous thing. So it's not like they're cheaping out on you.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's go and listen to the full ones. You're not going to be disappointed by getting the smaller one, and it's just such a wonderful thing. They used to use UVI as their platform. Now they have their own platform, which means that they've got complete control over everything. And as you can see here, this is the full version. You've got control over all sorts of things, so you can have multiple cellos, solo cellos. You've got control over effects and all that kind of stuff as well. So they're very powerful, but yet a very simple interface.
Not in this version. You only get solo in this one, but
exactly, yeah.
And that's the reason for me. I'm going to. They've already sent me an email saying we're going to give you a deal, but I don't know what it is
That's
yet.
it.
But
that's right. They said in the email that if you buy this, you will then get a nice, sweeter deal to upgrade to the full version if you wish to do that. So,
which is really good. In fact, I think I saw something like there's another 50% off or something, or 25% off if you subscribe to their. Once you go onto the site, if you subscribe, you get another 50% off. So I think, or 25% off. I think it's actually cost me something like 28 quid all in all. for this, and then I'm waiting for the upgrade, details to come through. It's kind of irresistible.
It is a bit. I mean,
Yeah.
Kent, you've already got the full version, so any thoughts on this smaller?
Yeah, well, this is great for people who want to don't want to throw the money at them straight away, and have just dip their toe in the water. If you're not intending to become the next, then you just want to use it to, even if it's for just general composing. There is enough in this package for you to do that.
Yeah.
Where because if you go for the full one, it's because you want to go much further with the instrument where more articulations are required.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a brilliant idea from them, to be honest, to be allow people to just have a quick crack at it, and if they really get on with it, of course they're not going to be so worried about forking out the full price.
Yeah.
I would contend that you say, if you're not intending to be like him, I would contend this is actually a doorway through, a gateway in, because it's giving you
absolutely.
that authentic thing. You don't have to have a full orchestra for every soundtrack.
No.
Again, I said Wolf Hall. Look at Wolf Hall. It's a really clever piece of scoring. This would have done for that. You can. I think this is a really good. It's a great way to start if you're going to go down this. But do realise you're going to lose your wife, your kids, your house, and everything whilst you start buying all this stuff. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Yes. So
But,
there we go.
yeah, no, this is. I mean, if you don't know about the various articulation of these instruments and where these articulations would cut in, depending on what note you started with and where you're going to and how hard you pressed it and everything like that, having the auto performer with it just takes all the hard work, and you can just sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So,
Literally.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, this is brilliant.
Good stuff. Oops.
Oop.
So
Just
yeah, there we
sullying
go.
Your reputation.
The harmonic, the instant cello is available now for €49. That's what did we say, 43 quid. That's half price at the moment. It will go up. But yeah, go and avail yourself of one of those.
And
should
if you don't mind some additional emails, you can use whatever account you wish. You get another. I think it's 25% off. I can't remember.
And they don't
exactly,
email
but-
you a lot. I'm subscribed.
No,
to
they
them.
don't.
They don't email you a lot
No.
at all. So, and thank you, Ben, for putting the link in the chat. It's right there. Go and check those people out. They do some amazing stuff. I'm big fans of the harmonic.
Yeah.
So yeah, knock yourself out. Right. That was that. Let's see. What should we talk about? There was one other kind of. Let me see. This. Yeah, I guess that really is the only new thing. Well, let's talk about this. It's kind of new. This is a new version, shall we say, of something called Oi, Granddad. Was it playing?
No.
Not
You're not
noticeably.
hearing that? That's weird. Why is the video not? Well, that's weird.
Poke it. He's probably fallen asleep.
Yeah.
Poor old git.
Welcome to the technical
Strange.
support
Well, anyway.
line.
You can see Oi Grandad on the screen. Why is that not playing audio? How
Is that link back
strange.
again?
No. This is all within
Within
let me
parameters.
sorry, let me just try because we've got time. Let me just try this
Yeah.
the harmonic one again. Yeah, so
Fine.
that works.
Yep.
But
Oh, sorry.
this doesn't. How very odd. Anyway, Oi Grandad, let's just put the video up on the screen. Oi Grandad is a granular synthesizer, as you can probably see.
Just a quiet one.
It's a very quiet one, but it does make some really cool sounds. I'm going to have to find
Just
the...
not today.
let me just find the video on YouTube. And
Is
we'll
it
play on
muted?
there.
I mean, the video muted.
No, you can't... you can't mute the videos.
Oh.
Because why would you want to? Yeah, it's. Let's have a look here. Let's see if we can find it here on. Oi Grandad.
I've got the link. Do you want me to send it to you?
No, I've got it here now. Here we go.
Okay.
No, we just got to get rid of the adverts before Oh, do you know, I'm never going to subscribe to YouTube, their paid service. This is just, but it does do my head in.
I did, and I love it.
I did as well, and yeah, with you. It's just made my life so much simpler. And my wife loves me.
Right, okay, so let's stop that. And let's do this.
What are we going to look at now then? Is this Oi Granddad 2?
This is Oi Granddad version 2.
That's very finally of you.
Here we go.
Ah.
There we go. We have sound. So it does weird and wonderful stuff like this. But if we skip forward a bit, it does other stuff like this. And as you can see, you've got 4 engines. And they're all doing slightly different things, and it's very flexible. When we first featured this, it had a very basic, slightly unintuitive graphic interface. Now it's a bit prettier, a bit easier to sort of see yourself around. Also, its performance has been vastly improved in terms of things like CPU usage. But it's a lot of fun, and it's free. You just basically load up audio files into each of these engines, and then just away you go. You can do some really, really cool stuff with this. As you can hear. So anyway, that's Oi Granddad version 2. It is available now. Free granular synthesizers. We up for that?
It's free.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Okay. Fair enough. Kent, do you want to add to that at all?
Not for me. It's
No?
not for
Why
me.
not?
Because I don't want to sound like I'm pleasuring myself in a drain pipe. It's not for me. Can you put the harmonic back on?
Okay. we have gone from one extreme to the other. So Oi Granddad version 2. So each voice now has 4 position sliders. Modulators now have 4 selectable stages per voice, waveguide resonators, various pitch quantization options, etc., etc. Lots of fancy new features, and up to about 50% of your CPU. That's what the original did. Now this is much, much more efficient, and is available across Mac, Windows, and Linux, which I know a lot of people will be happy about. It's just a really cool thing, and it's free, and it's available on GitHub. So I don't know if the guys have put. Yes, they have. Thank you. Links are all in there. It's a really cool thing for a bit of sound
in seriousness,
design,
come on, it's free. I mean, it's enjoy it, but definitely not my camp.
Not your cup of char.
Nah, not really.
I was looking at this, and I thought I only saw this last minute before we came on, and so I had a very, very quick look. I'm kind of. I was looking. Here we go again. Looking at the video, and with some of the sounds, I couldn't see what was changing, so I had no idea what it was that was happening. So I couldn't sort of tie the sound to the controls, so I didn't know exactly what was going on. And I thought then, what I thought was, I don't really like what I'm hearing. It's 4 new sliders, annoying, very annoying, fucking annoying, and shut up. I thought, but I actually quite wanted to play with it. I kind of want to get something in. I wanted to get this in, and I thought, I wonder if I can get hold of a version NFR or some such. And my question has been answered. I think this is an interesting toy. This is the kind of thing I would imagine Ty might like, because it offers a completely... Well, it's not the first granular synthesis, but they've done a lot to make it work well. And I think I've not explored in any great depth, to be really honest, granular synthesis. I know, I've played with it in the past, but recently I've not really looked at it too much. And this looks like a good way to get in. It's free. Are they asking for donations? Cup of coffee sort of thing, or? Or is it just a
No.
passion project?
It's just a passion project, it would seem. There's no mention, there's no links. Let's have a look here. They do have a Patreon, I believe. Let me just link to that. I believe this is. Let me just double check this. This is their Patreon. Yeah, I believe it is. So let's bring that up onto the screen. There it is, modularsamples.com.
Okay.
It says there, there was a link that says support project. Well, there you go. So I guess this is, yeah, there you go. Get access to the Oi Granddad expansion packs ready to use. So they'll provide you with samples and stuff. $5 a month, and then there are a couple of other tiers that will get you lots and lots more content. So yeah, that's how you can support them. Modular Samples over at patreon.com. Yeah.
So that's a good deal. And
Yeah.
you know, again, it's one of those ones where I'm going to want to play with it. So I will download it and I will see how it goes. I have seen that they've done a lot of work on. I remember this being reviewed longs ago, and it was very heavy on CPU. It now supports multi-threading, all that kind of thing. I think they've rewritten the code from the ground up. So I'm kind of interested to see how it plays, how it actually works on here, and if I can get my head around it or not. Sure, I will, but it's whether or not it's just too much of a, or whether or not it goes. Oh, doesn't it interest you, Ken?
No.
There we go.
Expand. Go on.
No.
No.
No, it's not the kind of stuff I go for.
No.
I'm
I get it.
Vangelis-y, Dimitri, melodic-y kind of. I'm not doing the.
Handsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing the noisy stuff. It's I've been down that road and it was all right, but it's just not where my love lies. Simply.
What about you, Robbie? What do you make of it? mean,
I like it. I like it. I've always liked granular sampling. I think it's a logical step in the sampling lineage. And I first started messing around with it in Motu's Mac 5.3. Actually, Mac 5.2. I think they had an Urcam granular engine in there, and I always had lots of fun just putting any kind of sample in, then just taking it down to a grain and just seeing if you can. And, you can get some really nice sounds out of that. Something sometimes it's awful, but when you get the good stuff, it's really good, and it's amazing how you can just make something from something sort of dainty. So yeah, I like it. I like messing around with stuff, but it's maybe not. I'm probably more with Kent on this one, but I like messing around with it, and so if I'm bored.
Do you remember several years ago now, there was a video on all the channels showing two keyboards with essentially a touch panel, LED touch panel, where you could see the waveform scrolling and you could play as well, and they had two people playing opposite each other, sliders and things.
Yeah.
That intrigued me massively. Didn't see anything come of it.
Never happened. It never happened, as in.
And it's a
never
shame
came to
because
production.
that for me is where granular, that idea of touchscreen, being able to interact with it, open, shut, and then play. That was really interesting. I'm going to wait and see. Do we know if this actually, is this just standalone? It does what it does, or can you control it from a keyboard? I don't know.
No, this is all within the package. As I understand it, I don't see anything else. But I tell you what might interest you, because that thing, I remember it looked like one of those tabletop arcade games, didn't it, with people either side with sliders and stuff doing stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there is something that's kind of similar-ish to that, and I've had a go on it, and it's bloomin' brilliant. And this is the GR Mega, and this is granular, and you've got this big slider here that you can mess around with, and it's all very hands-on. It's €1,500, not cheap, but boy oh boy does it sound good, and it's a lot of fun. It's very intuitive. They did something previous to that, which was called just the GR1 Granular, which is this thing, and then they've kind of souped it up with the GR Mega. But it's a similar sort of principle with that, easy to access and very intuitive interface. And they also do other like stop boxes.
And does that respond to keyboard? Does it have polyphony as well? So does it have a number of voices you can play, or is it one thing? What's the story?
So it's multi-timbral.
20 voices.
20 voices
per
layer, 5,000 grains maximum, 128 presets, multi-timbral combinations, 128. It's a powerful piece of kit. Ought to be £1,500.
How come I don't know about this?
Oh, we spoke about this.
Did we?
Well, because I had a go on it at Super Booth last year, and everyone was raving about it. It was one of those tables that it was very difficult to get to because it was very,
that's
very
right.
popular.
Yeah, so we never actually got around to doing a full thinking about it, did we?
And so it's one of those. It's quite a pricey thing, but it's a lovely bit of kit. It's a lovely piece of kit, and very easy to sort of get going with. It's like you'll probably need to read the manual, but you don't have to straight away. It's I like that a lot.
Oh, boom! There we go. Thank you for that, Ben.
So there we go. But that tabletop thing, the stand-up thing, that looked amazing, but I don't think it ever made it into production, which is a shame. But there you go. Such is life. Let me just say very quickly, to the hand of Lenin, £2. Thank you very much indeed for your donation. It's most appreciated. And welcome, Peter Toll, who has become a YouTube member. Thank you very much indeed. That deserves a round of applause. Well, going back to the the instant cello, Keith in Watford said he really likes this. Is there a violin version? So there's a full violin, the Bohemian violin. There isn't an instant one yet, but I imagine that if the cello does well, then the violin and viola will.
I believe it's something they're looking at for all of it, because it's a really good way in, isn't it?
It's a good way to get in, absolutely. Absolutely. And Simon, I have noted your I've noted your question. I'll use that later when we're really filling for time, because that's what we're doing at the moment. It's
like we're not.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, right. So that was Granddad version 2, available now, free of charge for Mac, Windows, and Linux. Go and have a look at that. I've got some discussion topics. Before I do that, let me just big up this as well. So this is what I was talking about at the top of the show. This is Synthesized. It happens at the Centre for Computing History, and it's starting tomorrow. It's a 2-day festival celebrating computers and synthesizers and how they've all worked together. And we've got some great, they've got some great exhibits that we've are involved in. So as you can see there, we are there with Peter James Stephen, who'll be joining me. He's kind of halfway there at the moment. He's bringing a bunch of emulators. I'm bringing some emulators and some other bits as well. And they'll be all there. So we're going to have every emulator, every version of emulator that ever existed on display. So that's, you can imagine, that's some serious kit right there. I'll also be having the Frankie Goes to Hollywood Roland Juno 106 will be on display, along with the Polybrute 12, and there's a whole bunch of really cool stuff there. And then you've got Dr. Alan Yip, who's got a couple of vintage ARP 2600s. Eddie's going to be there, and he's going to be bringing all of the Roland JV products. So if Roland JV gear is your thing, it's all going to be there. Mitch Johns will be experimenting with how synthesizers and 1940s cipher machines can plug into each other. I believe he's going to also be joined by a guy called Daniel Wilson, who's going to be bringing some weird and wonderful stuff along there. That's Peter also underneath, as you can see there. Then Bob Pearson's going to be there. Bob is a brilliant guy. He was one of the guys behind Cheetah, and he was there last year. He brought a whole bunch of wonderful vintage Cheetah synthesizers and controllers and so on. And if you come to this, come and see Bob, because Bob is one of those truly entertaining guys. Tony Jewell's going to be there. He's the organizer of this, so he'll be bringing a bunch of stuff. So will Pete Catley, who's a friend of the show. He's going to be bringing a collection of drum machines, including both the Linn drum machines, the LM1 and the Linn drum, CR78, Korg Mini Pops, Oberheim DX, the Emu Drumulator. There'll be two of those there this time. Drum tracks from SCI, and of course a Kawai R100, and maybe some more too. Matt Evans, not our Matt Evans, but another Matt Evans, bringing a MIDI setup of late 80s computers, plus an Akai sampler with some modern 303 and 808 clones. Jonathan the JP Stapalant is going to be there with his History of PC Sound exhibit. So if you're into things like Sandblaster cards and MT32s and Gravis ultrasounds, that's all going to be covered there. Colin Piggott will be there with a whole bunch of stuff. Sheila Dixon. Sheila is a genius, okay? Take it from me. She's done some amazing projects with the Sid chips. So she's going to be there with her stuff. And John Newcomb, Paul Whiffin, Alex Peverett and Adam Staff. And then on the Saturday night, Mark Jenkins will be doing his Kraftwerk 50 tribute. So there's a gig after the Saturday event. There's some pictures of things that have been there in the past. So there was the PWL PPG. Let me see if I can get that on screen properly. There we go. That was brought by Barney all the way down from Liverpool. That's the full PPG with the wave term and the processor keyboard. Funny looking thing. That was one of my Fairlights that I took a few years ago. Guy in the blue t-shirt there on the right is Chris Strellis with his modal gear. That's Liam Fretwell on the left there. You might recognise his name from the Facebook group. He brought a whole bunch of stuff. There's some of Alan's ARPs that he's bringing again this year. As you can see, there's lots of cool things. A Yamaha CX-5M. That's Paul Soulsby, who brings a whole bunch of his synthesizers and some late 80s stuff as well. And as you can see, there's Atari STs, and there's a Greengate. Do you remember the Greengate DS3?
Oh, God, yeah.
God, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So if I shift along here, that on the left there, so the guy with the bow tie is one half of a band called Mainframe. Sadly, he's no longer with us, John Malloy. But he came down because Colin Holgate, who was the gate of Greengate, brought that DS, I think it's a DS3, and donated it to the museum. So that's going to be there.
Wow.
That's Jason who on the right there, who owns the museum. And there's some Fairlights and PPGs. And there's my Emacs and my Yamaha VSS 200, because I thought, yeah, why not? Big samplers, little samplers. So that's what you can expect to see at the Centre for Computing History.
Cool.
This Saturday, so tomorrow and Sunday. And if you want tickets are available still online. And if you use the code PROSYNTH, PROSYNTH, all uppercase, you get 15% off if you order online. It doesn't happen if you pay on the door, you have to pay full price. But if you order online, use the code PROSYNTH and get 15% off. And there are concessions and child tickets and family tickets as well. So come and fill your boots. I know Keith from Watford is going to be there as well. Cool. So hopefully look forward to meeting a bunch of you if you can make it. So there we go. Synthesized. And
what time does it open tomorrow? What time are you there till?
10 until roughly around 5 or 6. I think it's 5 on the Sunday. But it's 10 o'clock opening time. And come and say hello. Come and play Frankie's 106.
Whoop.
And if you're good, I'll let you play a Polybrute 12. So the Polybrute 12 will be there. It's all packed up. Sorry, yes, Ben, it is a DS4, not a DS3.
What's just happened, Kent?
What's tickled him?
Well, look, the heat in here for the last few days, right? It's been quite hot, and the tiles have been falling off the wall.
Oh, we noticed one at the top there, yeah.
Like testicles in sixth form, and there was 2 tiles that laying on the floor here, and Noah thought, a bed. Thank you, I'll have that. Well, he's been asleep on it, and now he's got up and found that they're stuck.
Oh, it's
to
not.
him.
It's not. Oh no, Noah.
Look, Noah.
Oh, no, your
Come
camera's
here.
moving
Really
up to
funny.
follow you.
Oh, hang on. See if I can get the camera to go down. Let me grab it. Here he is.
This is proper filling for time, isn't it?
Yeah, no, here we go. Come here.
Yeah, but it's Noah with
Noah.
with sound,
Where is he? He's
Oh,
acoustically
look.
treated Noah.
I can't.
He can't hear you because the sound is being absorbed.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, he is deaf anyway, isn't he? So, hang on.
Pardon?
Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Show them how stuck to the tiles you are.
Oh, bless him.
Look, look. Ah, there you go. You're free.
Oh.
Free.
Oh, Daddy, thank you, Daddy.
Which way are you going? You're going that way.
Jeez.
And if you're going to lay on them, lay on the non-sticky side. Animals. Who'd have them?
There we go. Indeed, bless him. If you do come along to the event tomorrow in Cambridge, please come and say hi, but also tell me how I might know you. Give me your online name. Because a lot of people say, oh, hi, I'm John, for example. I'm just pulling that name. I'm like, I don't know, John who? Yeah, but if you say, I am the Hand of Lenin, I don't know if the Hand of Lenin's real name is John, but if you say I'm the Hand of Lenin, then I know who you are, you see. Because apparently the Hand of Lenin is going to be there.
Ah.
As will
Hopefully these arms and legs will be there as well.
as will the Pooch Stuck network.
Yeah, pooch stuff. Oh dear. That's definitely Anyway,
Spiritus Sancti.
yeah,
Hey.
if you can make
Dum
it,
de dum.
look forward to seeing you and come and say hi. Unfortunately, I won't have any T-shirts to sell. I was just too lazy, too slow.
You're going to sell your body?
I can give you a business card, okay? I'll do that. I'll give you a business card. But anyway, there you go.
You want a
Synthesized,
business?
Cambridge. It's tucked behind. Well, the directions are all on the website. It's a difficult place to kind of explain how to get to. It's on a little industrial estate. Right
This is
next to the railway
this is
line.
cottaging, isn't it?
It's
You're going
properly
cottaging tomorrow.
Yeah. We all
Yeah, that's
Indeed.
what it is.
So let's
Well, have
talk
fun.
about stuff. Okay, let's do this. Okay, it has been rumoured.
Rumoured.
It has been rumoured that this lovely thing is being discontinued.
Yay!
If you don't know what that lovely thing is, it's Moog One, which came out in 2019. It's 5 years old almost. And it was a beautiful, as you can see there, it's a beautiful looking thing. And it sounds amazing and is really, really cool. However, it looks like the issues that plagued it for a while and the cost of it and the fact that other things have come along that do great stuff as well for a lot less money, it looks like it's been killed off. But I say looks like because there's been nothing official from Moog themselves. So the rumour was started by a Dutch retailer who I believe are called TurnLab, and they basically said the Moog One is now discontinued. Now TurnLab are a reputable dealer, so I don't know. I doubt they would say anything to the contrary if it wasn't true.
Unless they're holding stock they want to get rid of.
Well, they do say they've still got stock, and I know that Thomann still had a few in. So it wasn't, it didn't bomb, shall we say? I think they probably recouped. I don't know, because certainly what was it, 10 grand for the 16 voice version, or 9 something for the 16 voice. There were 2 versions. There was the 8 voice and the 16 voice. And it's it has ceased to be. It's gone the way of the Norwegian Blue, which is a shame. And so I just kind of wondered, why do you guys think the Moog One didn't catch on? Was it simply because it was an incredibly expensive synthesizer? Was it because it was plagued with tuning issues and the fact that the case creaked when the thing got hot? Was it the fact that it had, I think, 6 cooling fans in it to cool the whole thing down, which of course gave a lot of extra room noise? What do you think?
Ken or me?
Anyone?
Okay. I think it's a magnificent sounding beast, and everyone that's got one, we all know about the problems that they had and all that kind of stuff, but everyone that's got one didn't regret getting it at the time. But the truth is, even when it came out, the technology and the design was 5 to 10 years out of date. It was already, old in the tooth, and they didn't do anything significantly different with it to really justify the price, not when you consider what else is out there. Now the thing was, it was always vaunted as being, the thing is, when you're buying this, you're buying a Moog that's hand built. That has a certain cachet, hand built by Moog people in the factory, and that had a certain cachet, and it sounded good enough to be able to do it. But then when you look around at what else is available, just for instance, the super duper deluxe 24 voice thingies, Udo, or the Polybrute, any of those things that have come out, they can't compete with, they can do most everything that the One can do, but they're not called Moog. And I know I'll get a lot of flack for this from certain quarters, Ty, but there's an awful lot of other stuff out there that can get you not just 90% of the way there, but get you sort of a whole bunch of other features as well, with more modern, more reliable tech, and with better control. It still would tempt me enormously if I was unendingly rich, because it's a Moog and it's the Moog One. But there's too much else out there that's really good. I think they were just late to this party, and since they've been taken over, the whole idea of that takeover and the group that they now belong to is trying to standardize as much as possible to make things affordable. They can still do the Moog sound. We'll get into that in another episode, won't we? But it's, you were going to say, Robbie.
I was going to say, they could also do the Moog sound.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, but the cow goes mo. Yeah, we've been through this one. I know. People can say what they like and do, But it was just, it's still too expensive. I think it's going to be a pain for them to manufacture, to maintain, to keep the parts, to put it together. I just think it's time to move on, and we won't go into anything else that Moog are doing. So sorry. Yeah, it's an odd one. It's an odd one. But
Conrad's asking, are Moog bringing out the Moog 2 to replace it? No, there's no actual direct replacement, but there is a new polysynth coming from Moog very soon. So yeah, and that one will be a lot more appealing, a lot less controversial, and I think will absolutely sell in spades, because I've played it and it's brilliant. Did I just say that? Yeah. It really is good. So they're not directly replacing it with a similar thing. I applaud any manufacturer that goes out and does something like this, goes out on a limb and make something that's big, bold, brash, expensive, and because if you're in the background, sorry, if companies didn't do this, it wouldn't push the envelope, shall I say? I hate using those kind of phrases, but it just gives us something. And Yamaha used to be good at this, with the GX1 and the DX1 and the CS80, and it would make big, massive synthesizers that weren't cheap, that kind of were the peak of their time. And I think it motivates other companies or even the manufacturer themselves to produce something that's then becomes more affordable. Yeah, Korg Oasis is another one. I like I like it when they do this. It's not for everyone, It's only for people with very deep pockets.
It was something of a dice throw for them at the time, wasn't it? Because they weren't. They were still floating. They had this new poly thing they were going to bring out, which was going to, it was the first one for 30 years, 35 years, or whatever it was. Yeah. So it was a real dice roll, and had they got it right and the pricing right and everything had, it would have, it could have been amazing, but it was just, it was okay. It was certainly good, but everything that's come around since, and as I say, I think the tech is just out of date. Talking of tech, Ken, what have you seen one?
I think I've had one in. I think I had one in. For something very silly, very small.
But you're very much of the opinion that Moog, a bit like Fiat, who are known for not being able to build large cars.
Yeah.
Moog aren't necessarily known for building successful polysynths.
Yeah. Moog can't make reliable polysynths in the same way that other companies do. However, that said, the Moog sound prevails throughout. I mean, a memory Moog is a huge, massive pain in the ass to maintain. But if you want that sound, if you want that sound, you got to, if you pray for rain, you got to put up with the mud. Where did I hear that? It was in a film.
Glastonbury.
No, yeah, it might be. Yeah, I'm sure it was in a film. So yeah, it's exactly the same. When they say, "Oh, it's kind of a memory Moog replacement." This Moog One. Well, yeah, it is, and it did a bloody good job at it and all. It produced some really, really great sounds, but it was pushing the envelope, and when you push the envelope, things break.
Yeah,
things need constant. The software could really just be rewritten again, just start again, and just get the software right. And that would get rid of 90% of the problems.
But that's about the money, isn't it, Ken? That's about you have to have sold enough and it do well enough. It's kind of you release these things, and if it's not quite right, you go hopefully. And unless you get the sales, you can't then reinvest in the software without losing money.
No, it's one of these double-edged swords, because if they got the software right out the gate, they would have sold more of them. Because I know dozens of people that won't buy one because they're worried about it being a complete nightmare. So if it had been done and it was totally reliable or more reliable than it was, they would have sold more. So it's this thing of you've got to push it, but you can't go too mad on the money and everything else. But Moogs have always been expensive, but that's because that's for exactly the same reason Rolls Royce are expensive.
Yeah, it's handcrafted.
Yeah, and it's
Each
probably
one's
done.
unique.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and how much of that reliability do you think is, the reports of reliability a bit, we're used to this on Tinterwebs now, where someone says something and it becomes fact. It's an opinion and it becomes fact. Ty's experience of it, yeah, he had a couple of issues, but he loves it. And he said most people that are talking about this don't own one, don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Sorry about that. They don't understand what they're talking about, and he likes it. So, how much of that reports of unreliability are just opinion rather than actuality? Do you know?
Well, I've heard it from quite a few quarters, I must admit. However, one thing you've got to remember is when Ty has an opinion on a synthesizer, a lot of it is based on sound, because that's the only reason he has them in there.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a monkey's what they look like, how heavy or light they are, what colour they are. It's got to give him the sound so he can do his work. If it gives him the sound that he wants, he will love it, even if it like constantly keeps trying to catch fire or have sex with the cat. He don't care, as long as it's doing the job that he paid the money for. Yeah. So, although his opinion is totally valid, it's not always how other people approach a synthesizer.
And you only have to look at his collection to see exactly what
exactly.
you mean.
He has stuff in his collection most people wouldn't consider or could never afford. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where when a synth gets a rep, that's it. It's got it.
Yeah.
And it will stay with it forever.
But to be fair to it, now Simon Alexander, who's a friend of the show, friend of mine, he bought one of these. He was straight onto it, and had no end of issues with the whole tuning thing. And I seem to recall, and I didn't have enough time to go and dig out his videos, but he made just some handheld mobile phone footage of after updating the firmware that claimed to fix these tuning issues. He went through the whole tuning process, which wasn't a fast process, because he had to go through and do everything, this whole calibration thing. And then by the time it finished, it was out of tune again. Yeah. Wow. And it was just, I could feel his frustration. And if you've spent 10 grand on a synthesizer that goes out of tune in 2020 or 2019 or whatever it was, you got to, you would be upset. And then he would say to me that he would turn it on in his studio, and he'd be sat at his desk and doing stuff, and he could hear this noise, and it wasn't the fans. It was a creaking noise. He thought somebody was trying to open the door or something was on the roof. No, it was the chassis that was creaking because it had expanded with the heat. So it was doing things like that. And then, of course, there's the whole aspect that it had, I think it was something like 6 fans inside to keep this thing cool. And I would normally reach over my shoulder and say, and here is a 2024 solution to that problem, is a design that uses pure and simple physics to cool a 12-voice analog synthesizer very, very well without the need for fans. I'm not saying that the Polybrute 12 and the Moog One are comparable in every aspect, but certainly a lot of thought was put into how to cool that thing. How many oscillators per voice on the Polybrute? 2 per voice, so it's 24 oscillators.
Okay.
Plus all the filters as well per voice. 2 filters per voice. Now I know that the Moog One has got a huge amount going on inside of it. It's a beautiful thing. It's a RAM thing. It's an Axel Hartmann design. It looks amazing because it has all of the recognizable memory Moog cues, but on a much grander scale. It's a wonderful piece of industrial design, as pretty much everything that Axel does.
Well, as you alluded to earlier, you need to have a company out there that are going to hell with it, right? We're going to really push these barn doors open. And you go, right, this is what we're doing. You can catch up if you want. And there's a certain degree of, when you're pushing boundaries, but still have to maintain your company philosophy and sound. as well. That has to be maintained. So, and it makes things very what's the word, constraining for them.
Yes.
Because there's the Moog thing, and the Moog thing is the Moog thing is the most important part of that. Got me doing it now, and because of that, it makes things more difficult for them. Other companies can go, oh, to hell with it. Yeah, let's put an ARM processor. No, put 2 ARM processors in it. We'll do this. We'll do that. And we'll have it. Make it all metal. Don't have any wood on it and all this sort of thing. And I think there's a certain degree where Moog can't do that. Because they have to be within their constraints.
And the other thing is, I think Steve Elbows mentioned this as well. That the thing that makes you sit up and pay attention, aside from the fact it's got 3 oscillators per voice, which means for a 16 voice system, that's 48. It's double the number of oscillators, which means there's a whole heap more cooling and design issues around where do you fit it all in. So I kind of get that. I think it was very ambitious of them. But the thing that really, really, really saves it for me, that makes it still, is just all those knobs immediately there and available. It is that's the Moog thing, and you only get that by spending a lot of money, and the fact that it was assembled by individuals. That made it expensive. But God, I would, if I could, I would have one in a heartbeat. But I'm just not that rich.
Yeah.
Well, it was no.
If money was no object.
Well, it was no different with when the memory mode came out. I mean, we ended up with, I think it was version 4.1 EPROMs in the end. I think it went all the way up to 4.1. There was loads of different EPROM revisions, fixing various problems or changing certain aspects, improving the auto tune. But what we used to say was about you press auto tune on a memory Moog and then open it up and tune it. And what the computer does is it sort of like gets you in the ballpark.
And I guess with a synthesizer like the Moog One, which is incredibly expensive and therefore will not sell in vast quantities, and certainly not the quantities of a regular run-of-the-mill mid-range, or even low-end instrument. Let's say, I don't know, let's just say for argument's sake, they sold 2,000 Moog Ones, okay? Then to then spend enough money on developers and what have you to fix any issues or to improve things, you're only going to be keeping 2,000 people happy rather than spending that resource on something that's going to give you a better return on that investment. So I'm wondering, are they now cutting their losses? The Moog One is now potentially dead. No more development or anything like that. Is that part of the reason they're just cutting their losses?
The other thing is, of course, that at that kind of money, all of their customers, every single one of them at that kind of money, is going to be very discerning. They're going to be discerning, and the stuff you can get away with a cheaper synth that's got lots of things on, and you have to keep updating it. If you're selling enough of them, people aren't going to necessarily be as discerning, or you can afford a few more dissatisfied customers whilst you get it right and deal with it and maybe do some replacements. Someone said earlier in the chat, I can't remember who it was, the A6 never had fully operating software for it either. So we kind of we know that, but when you're paying that amount of money, you expect it to be right. You wouldn't have a Rolls Royce with a squeaky steering wheel, right?
No.
Waldorf Wave.
Yeah.
Never finished. It has the sequencer buttons on the front panel. Never really got around to getting the sequencer done though.
Yeah. I loved
during its build cycle either.
Yeah.
So it's not unusual for that to happen.
The thing is with the Waldorf Wave, which is the world's most expensive doorstop, because when it goes wrong, that's it. At least with the Moog One, with people like Kent around, there is some hope for longevity. Should things start to peter out. Steve Elbows has just said in the chat that there is a rumour of a new firmware. It could be like the final firmware that they say, here it is, firmware version, whatever, and we're not making this anymore. This is it. This is the best we can make it. Thank you, and good night, Vienna.
Yeah, well, I mean, out of all the synths that have come out in the last few years, the Moog One is probably the one where a kind of Lintronics upgrade will pop up.
True.
For
Yeah.
it,
Could be.
Yeah.
you know,
Be.
because the machine is worth it.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
So
But it's not been confirmed. But the other thing which we know is they discontinued the 8-voice, didn't they, a while back? And
they? Yeah.
what we know about Moog, having looked on the website, is the 8-voice is still being shown as, one of the, there's the Moog One comes as an 8-voice or 16-voice synth. So they've never updated that either. So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't say an awful lot, but Moog's polyphonic future is looking very good.
Oh.
And that's all I will say on the subject. We all know what it is, but yeah.
A
If
Moog
the Moog
Quadra.
One, if the Moog One is dead, long live Moog. Thanks for your service, Mr. Moog One. I'm sure those that have it and love it will continue to do so.
Yeah.
And well done for just even having the gumption, the balls,
the
for
testicles
being having the testicles, having the stones, as they say.
in it.
The
In
cojones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
The
So, yeah.
cojones.
So no, but and I hope it doesn't put any other manufacturer or even Moog themselves off from doing something a little bit wild and crazy, maybe a little bit expensive, but push those boundaries
Yeah.
and develop things because of that, and then take what you've learned and make new stuff from it that might be less expensive, more popular, and everyone wins. So please let's have more, but. Farewell, Moog One. I think. Say, there's nothing official yet, so but it is. Yeah, we're kind of everyone's sort of pretty much agreeing that's what it's going to be.
Well, the others will be around. The ones that are out there
Indeed.
will stay.
But yeah, I mean the Moog website is still showing the instrument as current. I was going to play some clips. So there's this. They did this kind of slightly out there videos, like a 20-minute movie. Which features Sakamoto-san and a whole bunch of other people. There is a brilliant video by Lisa Belladonna called Impressions, and if you can go and find that on YouTube, it's just Lisa improvising on the Moog One, and she really does show what this thing can do. It's incredible what
Can
she
you bring
does with
that back up again?
Sorry?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Now you...
No is the answer. Don't worry.
I still fancy one though.
Oh,
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, I wouldn't kick it out of
we go.
bed.
No,
Go to the left. Go all the way back to the other end. Right. Just slowly go to the right. I think it's the next picture after this. No, keep going. Sorry, it is here because I saw it earlier. Keep going. There. On there. Is it on there? Somewhere it says. Oh, it's a gallery here. Somewhere in there it says owned by employees. Employee owned on the sticker on the back.
Yes, well, because it was ish. That's contentious though, because a lot of people. Yeah. Anyway, that's another argument. I can I just say I wager that Moog One is not fully populated. Because I don't believe he's carrying that unassisted on his own. Anyway. Yes, it does.
Well, a memory
it does
Moog
say,
isn't a walk in the park either, to be honest.
Exactly, yeah. So there you go. Anyway, Moog One. The sticker has been discontinued. Nice one. So there you go. Yeah, Moog One Impressions. Go and check that out on YouTube. The link is in the chat over there somewhere. It's beautiful what she does. I mean, it's beautiful. Everything she does is beautiful, especially with Moog stuff.
You love her.
I do. I have a bit of soft spot for.
Yeah.
We hugged lots. That was very nice. Anyway, Moog One. That's that. Let's talk something else. Where did that go? Oh, yes. Here's another contentious topic that gets people going. I posted this on our Facebook group
Right.
about a couple of hours ago, and it already, as these things tend to do, any kind of top list, of something.
Political parties in the UK.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's completely subjective. Everyone's going to have a different thing. But my colleague at Gear News, Adam Douglas, who is one of our finest writers, I have to say, he did this article, and he actually approached all of us on the Gear News editorial team and said, what are your favourite sounding synthesizers at the moment? Current synthesizers, whether it's hardware or software, analog or digital. What are your favourite sounding, or what do you think are the best sounding synthesizers? So we all gave him lists, and some of us had the same thing on each of our lists. In fact, the one that you see at the top of the page, I think, was on everybody's list, the third wave. So he did this thing. He put together 7 instruments that were, in his opinion and other people's opinions as well, the best sounding. So this is the list that Adam came up with. The Groove Synthesis. The Groove Synthesis third wave, which I believe is an incredibly good sounding synth. This one raised a few eyebrows. The Roland Jupiter X or XM was up there. The Polybrute 12. I wonder who suggested that one. The Model D Mini Moog, which of course is still available. The Oberheim OBX8. The Udio Super 6. And Diva from Yuhi. And I think that was it. Those were the 7 that sort of kind of came out on top. And of course, there were some noticeable omissions, such as no Hydra. Yeah.
No Hydra.
Yeah.
Susan.
So I was wondering. You don't have to give me 7 synthesizers, but maybe your 3 favourite best sounding synthesizer of the current crop.
Oh, current. Oh, that's where it all goes horribly wrong for me. See, I live in the past.
He lives in the 1570s.
Yes. Yea, verily, fair maiden. Definitely Hydrosynth.
Yeah.
Whether it be 49 Hydra or whatever flavour it comes in. I'm really, really gelling with the M8X. Although it's only for the more affluent among us. When I say affluent, I mean people who have access to bank loans. I still love my Rollies. I'm sorry. Although they don't generate sounds.
Well,
they allow you to manipulate sounds more than you could do. I will agree with you on the Polybrute 12. I so want one of them like yesterday, and I hate you, Robbie. Oh, what was that? Oh, bugger. What was it? I forgot what it's called. That thingy. I was really, really loving the sound of that plug-in that you played last week.
Oh,
the SY thing.
SY thing. Oh,
the SY.
Sway, yeah.
Sway.
Really, I don't know what it was, but something inside my head went, you're going to love that. You've got to go and get that. Get that, boy.
Very excited about
it. There was something just went, ooh, I can do shit with that. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Is Zebra still for sale, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah,
Zebra.
So. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's 3.
All-time favourite.
Yeah.
Or 5 actually. Yeah. So I'm doing all right. Go on in.
Yeah.
I've done.
Andrew.
I've done my bit.
Top 3 best sounding synthesizers.
Top 3.
Current crop.
The Udo Super Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an amazing sounding thing. And again, talking to people that have used it and actually got that, they've just said, yeah, it's a hands down win. Buy next. I like the third wave a lot. But I think Oberheim's OBX8 is a stunning sound. I think it just sounds amazing. All the demos, I've not met one in person, as it were, but again, everyone I've spoken to, one of my pals bought one, and he's just said it sounds amazing. Yeah, whatever they're doing there, it sounds amazing. I would definitely say this. I think the output circuits on this are good. Software, I think Cherry have knocked it out the park with Chroma and with the 3300. I think they've just knocked them straight out the park, and they're still ascending, going up that way. Yeah, and also, I mean, also too, I've got to say the GeForce, the Mellotron, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the version 4 of that. It just sounds amazing. So there's a lot of,
And the OBE.
Well, that was
the OBE
on my list. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a goodie. But the
Yeah.
Chroma, and the 3300 for me is still the best sounding software synth out there. But it's a personal opinion. So yeah, the Udo Super, the this Beastie probably, the OB X8, and just Cherry.
Yeah.
Cherry with all their stuff. I think they're just brilliant. What about you? What's your
Well, I think
the I'm gonna have to say the Poly as well, but I can't because I've only got 3.
Well, the Polybrute 12, absolutely hands down, one of the most favourite sounding synths ever, as far as I'm concerned. It just is beautiful, especially now with the added expression. So yeah, that's an absolute no-brainer. OBE from Oberheim, I still think, is an amazing instrument that sounds. I mean, I don't have. I've only ever heard Dave's OB8, and that blew my mind. I can't do an honest comparison between the software and the hardware, but the software just sounds just brilliant. It's
It doesn't.
perfect.
Honestly, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
It really is. Yeah, it's just a beautiful sounding piece of software, and is it what, 150 quid? I mean, you couldn't buy a better synthesizer for 150 quid.
Particularly
in
my
opinion.
patches.
Yeah, particularly your patches. Arturia's Pigments, I think, is a
Pigments,
brilliant.
yeah.
It's a
I've still got to
brilliant
get into this bath.
Yeah.
I've yet to purchase.
I've never got massively into programming it. I've dabbled, but every time I come across a preset, particularly in Astrolab, because you can flick through and you start playing it, I tend to not look at the screen, not deliberately. It's just I just turn the thing, look at the name, kind of get an idea of what that sound might be, and I start playing it and go, whoa, what's that? And I look at the screen and it's Pigments. So the Astrolab is great for sort of switching through and just being very pleasantly surprised by what sounds good. And a lot of the time it's Pigments, but Pigments is an incredibly good sounding synthesizer for software. So he, I don't have an opinion on because I don't have it apart from the Zebralet 3. I don't have any of their stuff. I agree. The Oberheim OBX8 and even the Prophet 5 Rev 4 are really, really great sounding synthesizers. I think possibly I prefer the OBX8 slightly over the Prophet 5. I don't know. I've always liked the Prophet 5 sound, but the third wave for me is incredibly good because it ticks. When I'm a very nostalgic person. I wallow in nostalgia in everything. I like to play old video games or listen to old music, and I like playing old synthesizers. And so an instrument has got to tick that box for me in a big way, and the third wave does that because it has that whole PPG sound, but then it can do so much more as well.
Yeah.
And so I think, you know, in that case, it really does tick both of those boxes massively, and that's
There's
very good. Go
another
on.
piece
There
of
is.
hardware.
There is.
The C15.
Oh yes, yeah. No,
The
no,
C15.
See, now I was thinking more along the lines of the Timberwolf, because there's nothing better for hand-to-hand combat or taking out a carjacker.
or propping something open.
Or holding the door open on a warm day.
Yeah,
That's true. That is true.
Or you can use an E2. That's debatable. You know, depends on what you have available.
Azio said, Azio had said Mask One. Yep, absolutely. I forgot about that.
I've
Just sat in the corner.
yeah.
That's why I forgot.
I'd like to hear more on that Mask One person.
I just want to buy one, and I can't. I just can't at the moment.
Hey, I want to buy everything. So
Yeah, well, yeah. We're gearheads. What can you do? What can you do? A pal of mine, Arksun, he goes under the name of Arksun Sound. His name, Lawrence Rapaccioli, a fellow countryman.
it's Welsh, is he?
Robbie. Yeah, Welsh. He does a lot of sound design, and he's done some sounds for Pigments that are just astonishing. He's done stuff for Dune 2, for Diva, Dune 2, for Diva, Silence, Zebra 2, Blue 2. He's done a whole bunch of stuff. He really rates Pigments, and he just says of all the latest crop of things, he just said it's the one. It's the one. And you know, he can't wait for Zebra 3 to come out.
I still wish that Arturia. I wish I knew if they were doing it. I have no idea, but I'd love them to do a proper hardware version of Pigments. I mean, yes, Astrolab can play the sounds natively, but I would love a synthesizer with the Pigments
that.
UI. Yeah, that would be amazing. But I think that could be a very big, expensive synthesizer.
Well, especially because the control surface would have to change for each different bit. You know,
yeah, I don't know quite how you do that. Yeah,
that's one of the problems you run into with this. I love this thing to pieces, but trying to control the different engines, your muscle memory sort of jumps to certain points, and if it's the same buttons and knobs and thing, you know, you kind of, it's a bit of a pain, I have to say. I wish they'd exposed more and charged a bit more, but you know.
This is why everybody has to have a copy of Behringer's VSTi.
Behringer's?
Behringer's VSTi, because what you do is at the beginning of your session, you fire it up, you listen to it for about 10 minutes, and then everything that you have on that computer sounds beautiful.
Even the Timberwolf would sound.
Even the Timberwolf, you go, the dulcet tones of the timbre. Anything. Well, actually getting punched in the face with a spanner will go, that was delicious. Thank God it isn't the Behringer VSTi.
Isn't it
is that
funny
a pencil
how,
you're shoving up my rectum? Oh, God, thank you.
You know, Behringer, bless them, they make a lot of noise on social media. That's how they do their promotions and stuff. Isn't it funny how Vintage just went, hey, it's Vintage, and then nothing.
Well, just download it and play it, and you won't be that surprised.
No. Anyway, moving on. No, I think
it's a great time machine, though,
Yeah.
if you want to be in 1987 again.
Yeah, I knew as soon as I posted that on the Facebook group that we were going to get a whole bunch of people saying, well, that's not on the list, and why is that on the list?
Because
that's what these
everybody is
lists do.
different.
Exactly, and that's the beauty of it. There's something for everyone, and you don't have to like what I like or what he likes or him down there. Like what you like, but it's a little bit of harmless.
I'm just looking to see if anyone's mentioning anything specific in the chat.
Yeah, a lot of people are actually. I've heard a lot of people talk about the Behringer Pro 800 as having a really nice sound to it.
Yeah,
I haven't played one, and I had to do an article this week, and it was all about third-party patches for the UBXA, And so I had to listen. I don't have a UBXA, so I had to listen to a lot of video content from the sound designers. And you know what? I sat there thinking, they've got this thing sounding pretty good. The one thing that most of them had in common, though, was that they were all feeding it through just a little bit of reverb or a little bit of delay, because it doesn't have any onboard effects. And I think that's what's missing. And I think Behringer have effects units. I mean, it didn't have to be an elaborate effect. It just had to be something simple. And I'm wondering why they didn't. I know they've got to hit a price point, and it's going to be a low price point for them. But had they just put in a very simple, like, 2 or 3 reverbs, 2 or 3 choruses, and 2 or 3 delays, just a nice little simple digital effect in there. At the end of the chain, it might have just really made that shine. As it is, it's from what I've heard, it's not awful at all. And I'm listening to James Dyson every now and again. He's doing some patches for a forthcoming bank, and it seems to be quite a capable machine. It's just they just stuck that little bit of effects in.
Here's another one that Conrad Gibbons has just mentioned. This what are your thoughts on that little beastie?
Well, the lineage is strong, and so most of the engines on there have it's always going to be good. But this is why I didn't have the Montage M on my list, because although it is a remarkably powerful instrument, I don't believe it has a sound that you could identify as an M8X. It sounds like everything.
Yeah.
It's not distinctive. It's not, but it's great. I mean, but it's not meant to be. It's supposed to be a broad church.
You see,
that's why I think the Kronos sits.
I looked at the Kronos. I came very close to buying one several times, just because it had so many engines. It seemed it was the first of that crop to come out with such a comprehensive series of things. But every time I've actually sat down and played one, I just don't like the sound. I mean, everyone else I know does, but there's something about the sound, something about the high end and the bottom end, that's just I find it annoying or irritating in some way, and I don't know why, but I've never liked the sound. Whereas this, as soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah, and this does have a really good rich. It sounds like analog. This, whereas that sounds like a computer in a box output.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. I think it's a great thing, but for me, just have either of you heard the Kronos? I'm sure you must have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great workstation with loads of great sounds on it. But there's
Do you
nothing
like
that
the sound of it though.
I don't dislike it. I wouldn't say it's not memorable enough for me.
No.
It sounded like it had it ticked all the boxes of having all the different stuff, like any kind of workstation type synthesizer has. There was nothing about it I didn't like, but there was nothing that kind of grabbed me and said, "That's so unique, I've got to have it."
Okay.
No, I haven't really heard one enough. I mean, it's supposed to be a continuation, really, of the whole Oasis thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I loved my Oasis. I think one of the reasons I wouldn't get a Kronos is because it annoys me the way Korg abandoned the Oasis after spending £5,149 on it.
But like to Murphy's, he's not better.
Exactly, sir. And yeah, and it's like they did with the M3, where the M3 got everything that we wanted on the Oasis and stuff like that. They sold their few and washed their hands of it and left us out to dry. So I hate the Kronos. Burn them all, I say.
Jim Hawes, he same as me. He thinks it sounds rather thin, the Kronos, but that's the Kronos. Yeah, that wasn't on the list. Analog Solutions Maximus.
Yeah, well,
there's no mentions. No mentions.
The only time that most of us that aren't called Ty Unwin have heard a Maximus is in a packed synth hall in Sheffield or something. And whilst it sounds brilliant, you can't appreciate its massiveness. But yeah, I mean, that is an incredible sounding synthesizer. So is the Colossus as well. It's incredible in so many other ways too. But
like the Moog One. Moog One.
Yeah, the Moog One. Yeah, get it right.
Like the Moog One.
Yeah. But I thought that was an interesting thing to say. It always whips up a little argument here and there. But you say the true answer is that everyone likes something different, and that's good. And you shouldn't have to like.
Yeah, we
what
keep
everyone else
subjecting
likes.
ourselves to these best ofs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When there
The only
is no
reason
such thing.
the only reason any website or newspaper or anything does a best of is because it will always upset someone, and then get people talking about it, and that's
Well, it starts bun fights, doesn't it? Let's face
yeah,
it.
exactly. And I try and steer clear of those, but I know that we're a genial lot, and I thought we.
I
could
always have a
nice-
bag of buns handy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favourite Jupiter? Not including the planet.
Oh, in that
80.
case,
I
The
think
80.
Yeah, the 80. Okay,
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say the 6. And I'm not
Oh,
only
God,
saying I'm
that's
not
a-
just saying that because
Mm-hmm.
it genuinely is the most interesting one. But our friend Matt Johnson of Jamiroquai and other musical ventures,
Jamiroquai, mate.
Jamiroquai makes done it all for charity. He's done a video. He bought one, and it does look in a really lovely condition. He's got a Jupiter 8, and he says at the beginning of this video, which I'll just play a very quick snippet of because I don't want the YouTube police to police me. But here we go. Here's a quick clip. So you get the idea. So that's as much as I'm going to play before we get shut down. Matt is awesome. He's a brilliant keyboard player, and this is a great video. It's a really cool. It's only about 13 minutes long, but he acquired one. As you can see, he's got an 8 next to him, so he knows what he's talking about. And he says that the 6 has a different character, and he says he actually thinks that the character of the 6 is maybe a little better than that of the 8, or more enjoyable. Yes, I know, controversial stuff.
I would agree. I mean, one of the reasons I like the 80 is because essentially the 80 is not a Jupiter 8 in a rack; it's a Jupiter 6 in a rack, but with 8 voices. And it does things that the 8 can't do. And I always liked the 6, but when the 80 came out with the programmer, that was it for me. It was a match made in heaven. Loved it.
Because the thing is, the Jupiter 6 came out after the 8.
Yeah.
And so I guess people were hoping that it was slightly cut down 8, but it wasn't. It was a different instrument.
Altogether.
With a different tone, different character.
Wasn't it the first that they did with MIDI? Was it the first with
I think
MIDI?
it might be the
6?
first Jupiter, because the 8 didn't come with MIDI to start with, did it?
No.
Not to start with, no.
No. Their
It's
first,
capable of it.
Their first synthesizer with MIDI as standard was the JX3P, if I'm not mistaken. That was their first official.
Didn't this come out? No, this came out before that, didn't it?
I don't know. I can't remember. It was too long ago.
It was too. I'm going to have to look it up now.
I always thought with JX3P was their first official out-of-the-box MIDI synthesizer.
Was it Roland's first synth to jump into bed with Curtis? As VCOs, anyway.
What, the 6?
I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's Curtis VCOs. And when you consider, you look at the architecture of this and you're going, and yet it doesn't sound like a Prophet 5 in any bleeding way whatsoever.
No.
The 6 has got a really unique sound to itself. The 8 is what's it? Transistor array VCOs. And I think there's less custom Roland chips in the 6, if memory serves. But not that many less, but enough. But
So
it's a completely different synth. Completely
according
different
to Roland, both the JX3P and the Jupiter 6 launched simultaneously, both with MIDI.
So everyone's right. Yeah, cool.
Like
No, because I've been looking into the JX3P because there is one for sale that I am still seriously considering acquiring.
Good synths.
Yeah, and so that's kind of because I was reading up about it and it said it was the first one. So, but no, the 6. I think things if somebody said you can either have a 6 or an 8, I'd want both, but I'd want the 8 for the prestige, but I'd want the 6 for the fun. I think that's how I'd see it. I mean, I would probably just shoot them in the face and take both.
6 is the one you take on stage.
Yeah.
8 is the one you leave in the studio.
The 8 is the one I play with my KX88 and or the DX5.
Yeah.
But well, that was it. The 8 is
To
the one for
answer
me all
Paul's
the way.
question, the reason I like the 4 is the warmth.
Mm-hmm.
She's a warm girl. I've always been a fan of the 4.
Yeah. No,
It's simplicity.
And for those of us mere mortals who can't afford the hardware, of course, Cherry Audio do virtual versions of the 6 called the Mercury.
Yeah.
Did they do one of the? They didn't do one of the 4.
They did
That was
one of the 4, didn't they?
Did they? I can't remember now. I can't remember. Let me have
I've
a
got a
look.
6 in the hall coming today. I'm not
Have
looking
you?
forward to it. They're not great to work on. They really aren't. They can get some really weird faults on the voice boards.
Oh yeah,
Really
they did the Mercury
weird.
4. Of course they did. Yes, duh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mercury
So,
4 and 6.
but yeah, the Cherry Audio ones are really good, and the Roland do a Jupiter 4. I wish they would do a Jupiter 6, but I'm not so desperate for it now that Cherry Audio have got that great one out there. But
I've got 2 4s in the garden.
yeah, you have.
I
Yeah.
haven't
That's
I?
8.
Next to the E2.
2 4s are a table. Well, you need a 6 on top to make it a table.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Must
yeah,
get
go
them out
on,
the
go and
garden.
check out
My garden.
Matt's video. Yeah, I can check out that as well. Go and check that out. There's also another great video that's just come out in the last day. I think it was yesterday, wasn't it?
Oh, okay.
That was. Let me just get rid of this because it's bloody annoying. Excuse me. Oh. Do you remember when YouTube ads used to just, used to have a 5-second countdown you could just click through?
Oh, I can't
The
remember.
second video will play for half an hour.
I'm currently being sold toothpaste.
Yeah. It's when you had the compulsory first and then the compulsory second advert that went, I'm going subscription with this. That's enough already. I'm not waiting for 2 ads and go looking at themselves.
What?
I'm gonna have
In
to
the
consider it
vernacular.
anyway.
Sorry, someone's just... What's this? Is that right, Kent?
What's that? The MKS has one of the capacitors on the voice board backwards, which is confusing. Yes, I've heard about this. Where it's marked on the board back to front. It occurs quite a lot, actually, across many keyboards.
Sorry to disappoint you, Simon. Your French perfume video is exquisite, and everyone should go and watch it. But it wasn't the one I was talking about.
Oh, yeah, I want that one.
So this is Alex Paul's latest video, which of course Alex's videos are just brilliant, and everyone should watch them. And if you haven't subscribed to him, you're mad.
Has he broke it yet?
I don't think so. He's not. He didn't do any dancing around this one.
Right, okay.
But the Trident, I mean, he does, it's only like a nearly 20-minute video, so he can't go into huge amounts of detail. But my word, this thing is a capable little beast. It's called the Trident because it has 3 sound sections: a synth section, a brass section, and a string section, all of which sound very good and do very odd but clever things. But it's all the connections on the back, and what you can do with that is just incredibly good. Yes, you've got to have the gear to do that, but yeah, this is a really great video of a great synth, and everyone should have a go and watch that. Of course, there was the Trident Mark II as well, but this is the one, and this is the one also with the battery that caused havoc.
Yeah.
So,
What a massive pain in the bum that is.
indeed.
Oh, that went yesterday.
Oh, did it?
Trident, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Apparently it's coming up for sale again, and it comes with its factory box and internals and books and all the rest of it.
Wow.
Wow. Nice.
And it'll probably be for a stupid amount of money. But
Yeah.
I had one of these.
Did you?
I had a Trident. Well, when I say I had, the truth is, and he may or may not appear at one day on the show, who knows, I borrowed one from Mr. Wickman.
Oh, yes.
Years.
without him knowing.
No. He said, take it because he was drunk. It was his wedding, and I borrowed it. And then he spent the next year trying to get it back from me. And eventually I had to give it back. Eventually I had to give it back. But, yeah. No, so I had one. And they are good, but they did have some reliability issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, as Waggy was just said in the chat, he'd like them to reissue the Trident. I mean, Korg and their software collection, we can talk about that for a while and disagree or agree on a bunch of things. But when they did the most recent update, what they added to it was kind of lackluster. And I would love them to do a Trident, maybe the Trident, the Delta, and the Lambda. Just stick those three in for shizzles and giggles, shall we say. That would be fun. Korg really need to do something like that.
The best way to describe the Trident is if a Poly 6 went to the same plastic surgeons as the Kardashians.
Okay. But it's funny when you look at the Trident and then you look at the Poly 6, which was their next synth after this, how different they are to look at. Because the Trident is incredibly 70s, and the Poly 6, because Trident was 1980, wasn't it? And then the Mark II must have been a little later.
And then the Poly 6 you could pick up on your own.
Yeah, the Poly 6 you could pick up. It was small, but it looked 80s, whereas this was still very much in the 70s styling. Yeah.
And
of course, as Simon Greatbatch points out, all of those synths that I mentioned, the Lambda, the Trident, and the Delta, are all available for free from Full Bucket Music. If you want their versions of it, and a whole bunch of other great Korg stuff as well. Yeah. But it would be nice if Korg did it. Anyway. So lots of great video content for you to watch, and of course that's not just including Alex and Matt, but also all the other shows that serve this community so very well. For example, Andy Synchrotron is, I assume, he's going to be doing his usual 10 a.m. live stream, his droney
God, I hope so.
noodlings.
I hope so.
Sadly, I won't be able to participate this week. But yeah, he go and check Synchrotron out on YouTube. He'll be doing that from 10 a.m. Yes, he is. He's just confirmed in the chat.
Oh, good. Thank God for that.
Then we've got Ramsey at 2 p.m. UK time with the Synth Geekery show. So that's going to happen. I don't think Jamie's got his stuff together yet, because he's going to start doing the Sunday shows again, but I don't think that's happening just yet.
I believe Henrik is doing JX3P. Yes,
you got the senior thing
tomorrow, but he's doing it
from
6 p.m. because there's some sort of football match happening at his normal time.
Of course.
I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it, but I'm going to try.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's doing that from 6 p.m.
Of course, yeah, because that was supposed to be last week, but and I hope you're feeling better. Yeah, I hope you're feeling better, Henrik.
Get well, Henrik.
So yeah, there's that. So yeah, you've got Andy, you've got Ramsey, you've got Henrik. That's all tomorrow, and of course, don't forget you've got Sonic State on the Wednesdays. Have I forgotten anyone? I'm sure there's lots of other people that you can go and watch. Pubs that are randomly dispersed during the week.
Well,
I'm glad you didn't do. I'm glad you didn't do one yesterday.
I deliberately didn't do one yesterday.
Why? Why was it deliberate?
Because you were going to be shagged out of your tiny mind.
Oh, you can still do it without me,
Yeah, but
mate.
Yeah, it's harder. It's harder to do because you got Gabby. You can keep things going. I was half asleep myself. Mate. To be honest with you, I was like,
I knew I'd come in useful.
Well, if Robbie's not going to be on there as well, I'm going to have to keep things moving. I'm going to go. No, I'm just going to fall off my chair. so there was little point.
Oh, bless you.
Well, I was absolutely. I was working off 3 hours kit yesterday because my son and his girlfriend flew back from Vienna, so I had to go and pick them up. And Stansted is literally an hour down the road, so I was monitoring their flight, and it started to come up as being delayed. And then I got a text from my son who said, "Yeah, we've been delayed. We're still waiting to go to the gate," and blah blah blah. The flight was supposed to land at 11:10. It didn't land until 1:45 in the morning. So I had to, I left here and got there about 1:30. So, there was plenty of time. But of course, the reason the plane was late was because there was a massive weather system across Central Europe that was causing lots of delays coming into the UK. And so when he landed, so did most of the other planes that were due to land at Stansted. And so therefore immigration coming back through was absolutely rammed. And luckily he didn't have to get any baggage because that would have taken forever. But we left the car park at 2:50 on Thursday morning. Yeah. And by the time... then they said, "Can we stop at a McDonald's because we haven't eaten since 8 p.m. And I'm desperately trying to resist, and I did resist. I just said, "You go in, and I'll just wait in the car." And of course, loads of other people decided the same, so we delayed there. Then we had to drop his girlfriend off at home. So by the time my head hit the pillow on Thursday morning, it was 5 a.m. and I'd seen the entire night from daylight to nighttime to daylight again. Yeah, yesterday wasn't good, but I got plenty more sleep last night, so that was good. Anyway, well, hopefully we'll see some more pubs. If you're doing one at the weekend, I'm not sure I'll be around because I've synthesized. See how we feel, because I'm going to be stopping on a little bit later tomorrow night to watch Mark Jenkins do his little craft work, which will be interesting. But yeah. So there you go. Lots of shows to go and watch, and make sure you subscribe to them and give them a thumbs up as well. And if you could do the same for us, that would be fantastic. Because that really does. You'd be surprised how much that helps, and it does. So yeah, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, do it now, and see if we can get us to that 4,100 mark by the end of the evening. There you go.
44,100.
Well, that'd be nice. Or 4,410. I'll take that. Anyway, and don't forget, if you want to support us, we've had Alex on the screen for ages now.
Poor old Alex.
I'm just waiting for him to ring me up and say, "No, take me down." There we go. If you want to support us, patreon.com/ProSynth Network, or you can join up as a YouTube channel member. Both of those are a minimum $2 a month subscription. You get free stuff and the warm fuzzy feeling of supporting this wonderful channel. Even though I say so myself, I will look forward to see. I just saw Neil Wharton scroll by saying he's going to be at Cambridge tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to seeing Neil again. I think last time I saw you was Gearfest, because that's coming up in a couple of weeks. Gearfest, 2 weeks time. Yeah. Tilyard Studios in London. If you're going to that, look forward to seeing you there. Keith, if you're still watching, I don't know if you are, but don't forget the flight cases tomorrow, which I will take off your hands. Thank you very much. And I think that's just about it, really. What are you up to over the weekend, gents? Anything interesting? Sleeping, recuperating, fixing things?
Sleeping
Gardening.
would be good. I'm going to be doing more editing because I'm still editing. Once I get this lump, by next week I'll be over the main hump of all of this, so then I can actually get my life back for a while, which will be good. So some editing, a lot of editing, and then I don't know, I might try and watch Simon's French perfume thing, because I haven't yet, and if someone's got that, they want to stick it in the chat, that would be Simon's dog.
Well, I'm sure Simon's owner was in the chat. So yeah, anyway, Kent, this weekend, anything fun?
I got an OB8 to get finished to go tomorrow morning. I got 6 relay motors I've got to calibrate on the CNC. I've got this lump. I've got to do some more to this 80. What else did I have to... Oh, I have to help Fiona with her G-code on the circuit board for her light. So the CNC is going to be running all day tomorrow as well. There was something else as well. There's something else I've got to do, and eventually somebody will phone or slap me in the face and remind me what it is. But I can't remember what it is at the moment.
Cool.
Something to do with... No, got nothing.
Well, everybody knows what I'm doing at the weekend. So if you're coming to Cambridge, I look forward to seeing you there. And come and say hi. And come and have a play of a Polybrute or Frankie's 106 or lots of all the emulators.
Come and play the Polybrute 12. Bring money.
Yeah, bring money.
Yeah, because you're going to need it after you play that. It is.
You touch it, you fall in love. It's yours forever.
Yeah. I've made sure I've brought my MacBook so we can load up loads of amazing sounds to play on there. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
We'll have a fun couple of days.
Yeah.
Have you got a meal booked for tomorrow night with lots of people, or?
No, there's I think Tony, who's the organizer, said he's going to just get pizzas in for all the exhibitors, and then we're just going to have pizza, hang around the museum until Mark comes on at I think 8:00. So yeah, I know Peter's staying over in the hotel, but I'm because it's so close to me, I'm just going to come home and sleep in my own bed, which is always nice. Yeah, next to my
try to avoid the big
menopausal
pizza.
wife.
The big pizza
I haven't
fracas.
had pizza in ages, yeah. Looking forward to that.
Now you got
Cool.
me thinking.
Well, there we go. We managed to fill 2 hours and 2 minutes with not a lot.
Thin.
That's what we're good at.
But
That's
there are things coming down the pipeline.
Oh, yeah.
So there'll be stuff that we can talk about and people we can talk to. So this isn't indicative of the normal show, but I think we got through all right. We had some fun. Didn't upset anyone too much.
Oh, really?
Tamberwolf owners.
I thought I was trying quite hard.
Yeah, we're trying.
Can I do a party political broadcast on behalf of... Oh.
No. Oh, and by the
Okay.
way, the only bit of politics, all right, that we should do, if you're in the UK, it's the general election on Thursday. I don't care who you vote for, all right? I genuinely don't care who you vote, but please do vote for someone and make a difference. Because if you don't, then you're kind of missing out a little bit. I know they're all lying gits, but there's lots of things wrong in this country, and we need to fix those. And we can only do that by exercising our right to vote. People died for that.
Yes.
So do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. There you go.
And be nice to each other.
A little bit of politics. Yeah, be nice to each other.
That wasn't politics.
Politics.
That was
Politics, yeah.
democracy.
Politics, I love it. Yeah, did you hear about the speed limiters, automatic speed limiters being fitted to all new cars as from next week?
I've heard talk of it, but I've never heard of it being done as of next week.
Yeah, according to Lad Bible, it's happening next week. So,
Lad Bible.
from-
Oh yes, that big authoritative. Yes.
Yes.
Well. Moving on.
Moving on.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Whatever you're doing, have fun, and we will see you all same time, same place next week. Keep coming back for more, so it's all your fault. Thanks ever so much. Take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye.
Vote. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
vote bye.